My name is Akincano Weber. I am a contemplative psychotherapist and Buddhist teacher. I'm based in Central Europe and have been a former monk in the Thai forest tradition for 20 years, and prior to that a Zen practitioner. I do most of my teaching, which I understand as a form of translation, in secular and Buddhist context, where I teach Buddhist study retreats, Buddhist psychology, Buddhist meditation retreats.
There are many aspects to mindfulness. The obvious meditative aspects, the stabilizing of mind, the gaining continuity of mind, the lucid perspective gained by an overview of mind, by disidentification with objects of mind, I think are very well documented. What is maybe less well documented is other aspects that are forming part of the Buddhist psychological understanding what mindfulness is also. This is not so easy to translate because we have a paucity of terms in Western languages compared to what is there in, say, Pali language. So Pali language uses many, many words for this kind of contemplation. It uses terms like vichara, it uses terms like investigation, it uses terms like describing forms of examination, of methodically covering a certain terrain and observing very clearly and in minute detail aspects. Basically all practices that bring about a greater sense of realism into our relationship to the world, acknowledging in brief the three characteristics: impermanence, inconstancy, contingency, dependency, the dukkha aspect, and finally the aspect of impersonality, the ultimately dynamic and process nature of all of our experience. These are the major task of mindfulness to basically bring forth. Sati opens what is previously hidden and makes it accessible, namely the three characteristics. So there is more to Sati than just being in the present moment. One aspect of Sati is that it clarifies the perceptual process, and it does so by non-drifting away. So one of the recurrent terms or the images for Sati is that it does not drift away. So if you throw a gourd into a current of water, the gourd drifts away. And Sati is described as not doing this. Maybe the term would be non-distraction, not floating away. And that which makes us float away is obviously the associative drift. Now, Sati is one of the things that helps us not following that associative drift, but stay with the deliberately chosen object or process. One aspect of Sati is its connection to a quality called clear comprehension or situational awareness, which receives a lot of coverage in early Buddhist teaching. In fact, in most of the cases where Sati is mentioned, Sampajañña or the adjective Sampajañña is mentioned in the same breath. So there is a very useful, albeit commentarial, explanation of what four of these Sampajaññas are. Remember, if Sati is something like creating a relationship, Sampajañña, the situational awareness, creates a context to that relationship. It creates a context, say, to ethics, to purposefulness, creates a context to the goals of our path. And it's very useful to remember those four aspects. So the first of those Sampajañña is called the Sampajañña of purpose. I am, as a practice and contemplative training, called upon to evoke a purpose for my life and vital energies. This is not something I can just do in the present moment. It's obviously something that entails some thought, that entails connection to my values, that entails information and some big thinking about what is really meaningful in my life. And the first Sampajañña establishes, what do I want to give my energy to? Short term, mid-term, long term. The second of those Sampajañña is called appropriateness or suitability. So if I have identified values, if I have identified goals, is what I am currently doing actually leading towards those goals? Is it effective? Is it appropriate? Is it measured? Is it calibrated? So are my approaches, my strategies, anything from my livelihood to my meditation technique to my way of relating to money, anything of this, is this connected to my declared goals and values? Am I congruent with myself there? Yeah, would be the psychotherapist's language. The third of these Sampajaññas is specifically about meditation. The word is domain, gojara, the cows grazing. Much about early Buddhism is about imagery, agricultural image. So the cows, where do the cows graze? Where are my cows grazing? Where are my meditative cows grazing, for example? So is my meditative task actually cleared? Do I have a clear idea what I'm doing when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And what are my tools? What is my trade? Yeah? So the craftsmanship of a meditator or a contemplative is the first part of that third Sampajañña called domain. The second part of it is basically, how can I translate the situation I'm currently in into a situation of practice? I can't always practice samatha meditation. I can't always practice having a most unified mind. Sometimes I can maybe practice patience. Sometimes I can practice non-reactiveness. Sometimes I can practice simply breathing into my belly. Sometimes I can practice feeling my body. Sometimes I can practice compassion. There are many ways one can practice the path. And that third Sampajañña is a magic wand that helps me transform the situation I am in into a situation of practice.